Man, I kind of hate this base. I kind of wish you could just remodel it, you know? And remodel it we did. Hello everybody, my name is Parasitis and welcome back to my channel. As you probably saw from the intro of this video, we are going to be rebuilding my base, which as you can see looks very, very ugly. But we'll get into that in a second because first things first, as always, we're gonna do our quick offline recap. Remember how last episode I said that I built something like this, but it was kind of ugly and I said I wanted to prettyify it? Well, here's me prettyifying it. I like what I did with this round part in the path, and I like the tree too. It's my first time building an organic tree from scratch, and I think it looks pretty good. Not the best. It definitely could be better, but again, honestly, for my skills and abilities, it's not the worst, so I'll take it. And on top of that, we just built a little path over to where our cherry bridge over here is, just to have a little bit of continuity between the two because, you know, they're both cherry. I didn't want to bring this thing all the way up, so I just put a little path with some coarse dirt and gravel and whatnot over here. And yeah, that's about it. It's only been a couple of days since I recorded my last video. But anyway, let's get on to the video. So first things first, we have to plan, which I have already done a little bit of, so let me show you what my general idea is for this build. In front of me, we have the general color palette. For the walls, I'm thinking this mix of the mangrove planks and the stripped mangrove wood to texture the planks. And then for the roof, dark oak planks and then just normal like dark oak wood. And for the kind of bottom part, I don't really know what to call it. I was thinking stone bricks. So this is the general color palette we'll be working off of. I'm gonna throw in a few extra things in here and there, right? Maybe some leaves, and I think I want a little bit of spruce in there too, somewhere. I don't know where exactly, but just to, you know, spruce things up. Anyway, and some lanterns. So yeah. In the meantime, I'm going to demolish this entire building so we can rebuild on top of it. I would blow it up with TNT, but I honestly don't want to ruin the basement that I have down there because I like that too much to redo it. But anyway, also just by coming up here, I realized that I think I'm gonna have to move the farm a little bit. I'm not sure how much or where exactly, but I think we're definitely gonna have to at least push it back a little bit. And as you can see, I have some mangrove trees over there that I haven't yet cut down. Side note on that, anybody who told you that acacia wood was the worst tree to cut down, they were wrong. They were lying to you. It's mangrove. Cutting down mangrove trees absolutely sucks. Never do it unless you absolutely have to. And for this build, we have to because it's pretty. It's so pretty. It's glorious. It's one of the best Minecraft woods, but it's so annoying to cut down. Oh my goodness. It's not fun. It's just not. Okay, I'm done ranting. Time to actually do something productive. So now that our old base is officially ripped out, I am honestly looking at this area and thinking, this isn't gonna be big enough at all. So what I'm thinking is that I just make this prettier here, maybe make the cow farm a little bit bigger and nicer, put that here, leave this farm here, kind of turn it into like a thing. It's like, oh, a little farm with the cows, with like a barn and the fields and whatnot. And then put my new house maybe over there or over there somewhere around here, just not here because this is not a big enough area at all. Just even just by me looking at it, I'm thinking like this is not the size that I want at all. And I've honestly been thinking it's been too congested in this area either way, so I think it's a good trade-off. But before we get into any of that, let me show you a sketch I did of what I want the base to look like, and then a rough draft creation of what I want it to look like in a creative world. As for the basement, I honestly don't 100% know. I want to keep this, but I think we might be better off just keeping it as the basement of the barn, which doesn't really make much sense when you think about it, but what else am I going to do with it? Let's be honest here. I want to keep it, but I cannot put my base here. It's just not a possibility for me. So yeah. So here we are in MS Paint with just a very rough, crude picture of a drawing that I did in my sketchbook of what I maybe want this house to look like. As you can see, it's kind of cabin-esque, although I want it to be kind of tall. You can see we have a couple of layers in here. Maybe we'll add the roof as its own separate layer too, with attic, but I'm not 100% sure on that. And as you can see, I played around with the idea of having a chimney, although I'm not exactly sure where. I wanted to put it over here, but then I just thought that this looked too busy, so I put it over here, but I'm also not 100% sure about that, so it may or may not be making the final cut. Also, I thought this part looked a little bit empty because I want this part to go back in a little bit by a couple blocks, so I played around with the idea of having some trees in here, which also may or may not make the cut. I'm not 100% sure on that, but if push comes to shove, I think it'll be a good addition. And then again, just to balance things out a little bit more, I played with the idea of having this overhang that I don't think I'm gonna do. It doesn't work very well with the idea of this roof coming out this way as opposed to this way, so I think I'm gonna cut that. But other than that, this is the general basic idea that we're working off here. So I'm gonna build in creative and then I will show you guys what I have done. And after all of that, here we are now in my creative world, and this is what I built off of my little sketch that I just showed you guys. As you can see, it's not like a one-to-one replica. There's some things that I did differently and whatnot, but overall, I think it looks pretty damn good. As you can see, we incorporated some spruce in here, a little bit here, and then there's some cobblestone that we're gonna need to get, but honestly, it's not that big of an issue. I had some trouble with these little, windowsill things, and then I went onto Pinterest and looked at some other builds and really looked at them and went, I'm making this too complicated. I'm complicating things too much, and that's why they look so bad. So then I came up with this, very simple, just bang, 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 easy, but I honestly think it's the best outcome because I kept trying to make things so complex and designed and whatnot, but it just kept on looking too convoluted. But now that it's so simple and you look at it from far away, you're like, yeah, I know what that is. I can see what it is. It's simple and I like it. And that's what all the windows look like, except for down here, of course, but that's what all the windows look like on the walls over here. And then also, I used a little bit of blackstone for the pillars over here, just because they were a dark color and I didn't want them to be exact cobblestone down there because that was a little bit lighter. And I was a little bit worried about using them at first, but now that we actually have them in here, it doesn't stand out too much from the browns and stuff in here. And I think it actually kind of matches the, what is this? Like maroon color that we have going on in here. We have a little bit more spruce in here, some leaves, simple doorway. This is a more complex window. I'm still not 100% happy with it, but it's the best that I could get it, so whatever. Lastly, the roof, which was the part that I struggled the most with. I rebuilt this roof probably 5 times, and it took me a while for me to get to here. I built this part last, and before I built it, I just kept on thinking that the build was so unbalanced and weird, but I couldn't figure out how to get the roof to make it look better. But after adding this little balcony part, I honestly feel, again, a lot better about it. And it just kind of goes to show that sometimes you really just have to work with things that you don't want to work with. Because honestly, I was considering just kind of not giving up on this roof, but just doing like a completely different kind of roof that wasn't what I wanted at all. But instead of doing that, I kind of persevered with it and kind of forced it to work almost. And in the end, I think it looks pretty good. It's not like professional builder level. I am not a professional builder. I've done like 3 actual builds in my life, and this is one of them. But again, I think it looks pretty good, and I'm happy. I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. So anyway, let's use all of the materials I gathered back in New World and then bring this guy over there. Here is a much much better spot for where we can put this house. As you can see, it's in a jungle sparse area, which has some of the more saturated green grass that I like. We have these little cliff things in the background to frame it a little bit, and obviously we'll get rid of these trees, terraform a bit and whatnot. And it's also relatively close to our base, which you can't really see from here. The cherry bridge is just out of render distance, but you can see the warped fortress over there, which is a pretty good indicator that it is close by. And now I get to sit down, relax, and enjoy the long, tedious process of rebuilding the build that I made in creative into here. And here it is. Now, I don't think it's an exact one-to-one replica of what my base on the creative world looks like, but I think that's okay because in general, it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. And yeah, I've been working on this over the course of the past couple of days. And again, I'm really happy with it and I'm really glad that I did it. I think the only thing I have to do now is the interior, which I have not done yet. And I want to get a little path in here back to spawn just so I have a little clearer route to where I'm going. Because I'm still kind of going just based off of vibes right now. And it's like I still have to reroute myself and whatnot. But yeah. Also, before I go, I just want to say that sorry that this video took a couple days longer than usual to get out. I had like a throat ache that I got in between my recording days this week, so it kind of put me out of the game for a couple days. But yeah. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and do as all YouTubers tell you to do, and like and subscribe, and yeah. Bye!